Figure it out.
Hello, this is Adam Koralik from Figured Out Productions. The following video is a video of some kind, and I hope you enjoy it.
Hey guys, it's Adam here, and welcome to PlayLoad. This is all my video game pickups for the month of July 2020. I'm gonna be upfront with you right now. This was the worst month of my life, and to be honest, video games really I didn't care this month. I know it's a terrible way to start off a video like this, and I've never in my entire YouTube career brought like real life world drama from my life into my videos, and I don't intend to change that, but this is one special exception just because I want you to understand the reason I'm a little different right now, and by I didn't really care about picking that much stuff up or whatever, is because about a week ago my mother died. She passed away from the cancer, and I just want to say a couple of things about that. First is I want to say thank you to everybody out there, because I posted about this on social media because that's part of my mourning process, is just to, I don't know, but it's weird. We all mourn in different ways, and people have been incredibly supportive of me and all that, and it means a lot. It really does, including you guys. I posted about it in the community tab and all that stuff, and people were just, very supportive. It means a lot. The other thing I want to say is, just for the rest of you, is, if you're still lucky enough to have your mother, love them, take care of them, because you only get one, and then it's gone. It'll happen to anybody at any time. In my case, we had no idea there was going to be a thing, and then all of a sudden it's over. So it's bad, but to make sure you take a lot of pictures, make a lot of videos or whatever, and just enjoy the time you had, and then try to find ways to go forward from there. So one of the things I'm going to do to go forward from there is that I knew my mother would want me to just keep working and making content and generate things that would excite people and make people happy. And fortunately, it seems that people do enjoy watching me pick up video game stuff. So we're going to do that. We're going to get right back on track here. So again, thank you to everybody for the support. And now let's move forward. Video game pickups. Got a few different things. Obviously not a ton for reasons I just stated, but we do have some stuff. Now the first thing up is something you guys would have already seen had you watched the video, which a lot of you didn't. You should have watched the video. But this is the Neo Pocket. This is a flash card for the SNK Neo Geo Pocket. Like I said, I did an entire video on this thing, full review of it. Long story short, every single game for the Neo Geo Pocket on a single cartridge. Boom, right there on original hardware. Thank you very much to Stone Age Gamer for hooking me up with this. But again, if you want more information, go check out that video. So moving on, very random item I've got here. A buddy of mine who came to the funeral, we met up afterwards, and he was like, hey, I actually have something for you, because he had found this in his house. And he didn't know how it got there. He didn't remember ever buying it, but he was like, you're literally the only person I know that could possibly find any value in this. And he's probably right. This is something called the Eliminator by Naki. It is actually a cartridge cleaning kit for the Sega Genesis or Sega Mega Drive. It actually states both, which is interesting. I don't know if I have any real practical use for this. I mean, I obviously clean cartridges from time to time, or consoles. That's actually specifically what this one's for. But it does have the actual cartridge cleaning tab too. So cool. I'm sure the material, the liquid in there is bad, but the actual cartridge part is still quite useful. But sealed, old new stock, but horribly sun faded. Either way, thank you very much to my buddy Anthony for hooking me up with that. Speaking of one friend going to another, another buddy of mine named Trey. He came over to hang out for a little bit, and he just handed me this. This is a safety cutter. Now, he's been watching my videos for years, and he would always kind of, squirm a bit when I would use scissors to open stuff, and so did a lot of other people, because a buddy of mine named Kyle sent me an X-Acto knife that I could use to open up, or a box cutter specifically, to open up packages. But apparently that was making Trey squirm a bit, so he actually just handed me this. So we're going to actually debut it and actually try to use it here. I know it's not really a video game item, but it does affect the channel. So we take it out here, and it just has this little nub thing going on. And I guess it should just open up like, yeah, that seemed to do the job. There you go. That's cool. Thank you very much to my buddy Trey for that. He says much less likely I'm going to accidentally shank myself with that, and I'm sure he's right. Moving on, thank you very much, Trey. Moving on to the next thing, though. This is a package from Castlemania Games. Now, this thing is going to get its own video, so I'm just going to show it to you guys up front, talk a little bit about it, but then we'll wait for the future down the road to actually discuss it in greater detail. Obviously, I already sliced it open, so let's just go ahead. Inside, Castlemania Games stickers. Actually, he changed it up. Lost in the Castle is now their new thing. And then there's the item itself. So move that off. And what we have here is the Retro Tink 2X Pro. Now, I've already done a video on the original Retro Tink. I've also done a video on the Retro Tink SCART edition. This is basically a device that allows you to take component signals and output them through HDMI. It can be quite useful for various consoles, but we'll go over the details of that later. It looks like it has an S-Video jack on it still. The original supported composite, S-Video, and component. This, I think, if it does support composite, then it probably does so through the green component port, and you just kind of hot swap there. I would have to obviously use it before I'm sure of that, but this one I know has updates. Like, it's got additional features on it, it's firmware upgradable and stuff like that. So yeah, but again, we'll get back to that at another point when we do more videos. I know that even in the previous PlayLoad I showed a bunch of stuff that I still haven't made videos on. I will do that. It's just obviously recent events, you know. Anyway, so thank you very much to Castlemania Games, and we'll get back to that in the future. Now, we have the one thing in this video I actually bought. I ordered this right before everything fell apart, and now it has shown up, so let's go ahead and open it up. We will slice there, slice there. Actually, this thing's pretty nice, although it's kind of hard to guide a little bit, just because the nub on it is so tiny. Alright, there we go. That should do it. It is efficient, I'll give them that. Okay, inside, a little bit of packing material. And underneath that, I'm assuming a bunch of retro gamers out there probably got this. This is a pretty odd item. Ooh, they come in plastic cases. This is Retro City Rampage DX for the Nintendo Wii, the original Wii, as well as Shakedown Hawaii for the original Wii. Now, if you're not familiar with this, they actually come in these cool plastic, you know, case guards. That's pretty nice. This one's even labeled V-Blank Collector's Seal. So V-Blank is an independent developer and publisher, and they actually decided to randomly produce a couple of original Wii games. They also have an upcoming Wii U game that I'm going to try to get. Also, it's Shakedown Hawaii. And they decided they were going to just put out a couple of Wii games. Now, it's no secret that I really don't like the original Wii. I think it's I'm not even embarrassed to say it. It's a garbage video game console. I truly think it is possibly the worst of all the major successful consoles ever produced. We don't need to go into that, but that said, these are probably the last two original Wii games ever made. I don't even think Ubisoft's going to be doing it anymore with like the Just Dance series. In fact, from my understanding, it's only in Europe that you can still make original Wii discs. Nintendo of America and Nintendo Japan no longer allow production of original Wii content. So I know with the Wii U, all games had to be submitted by the end of 2019. I don't know if that's the case with the original Wii, but it is entirely possible that these are the two last original Wii games. What's funny is everybody knew this one was coming. They had announced it for the Wii U and the Wii at the same time. This one just kind of went live at the exact same time. I don't follow V-Blank enough to know if that was supposed to be a surprise or if I just missed it. This game is available on a bunch of other platforms, including the PS4, the Switch. Funny enough, not the Wii U. Maybe there will be a Wii U version of it suddenly when they announce this. I honestly don't know. Or when the Wii U version of Shakedown Hawaii actually goes up for sale. Either way, not sure. But I wanted to support it anyway. I just thought that was pretty neat. But unfortunately, I can't really do anything with them because they are region coded. Now, I think it's possible that my hacked Wii U could actually play Wii games that are imports. I'm honestly not sure, but that doesn't really matter. If I was going to play this, I'd play the PS4 version, and I'm going to get the Wii U version of this. So I'm never really going to play these versions anyway, to be totally honest about it. But I do think it's neat, regardless, that there are at least two more officially licensed Nintendo Wii original games. But yeah, when you look at the back, it's pretty obvious these were basically produced in Germany. I'm assuming Germany's the only place that's still actually producing discs. It's something about Germany, man. They're always willing to produce discs like all the way till the end. Good for them. I approve. I also like the spine here. It looks like they've kind of customized it for V-Blank, although, yeah, that's just on the outer plastic. So if you get these, the outer plastic case isn't just a case protector. It's actually part of the set because it's got the official V-Blank logo on it. That's cool. Either way, awesome to get that. But it's funny, I was reading the information about Shakedown Hawaii for the Wii. Apparently, they were only planning to make it for the Wii, but because you can't make a North American or Japanese Wii disc, more specifically a North American version, they were deciding to give it a Wii U release just to get to a slightly wider berth of gamers, which I respect that. But it's funny because then the Wii U was the afterthought in that situation. But I prefer the Wii U, but that's just me. Obviously, I am in the minority on that one because for some reason people like this garbage console. I don't know. But either way, awesome. Anyway, let's move on to the last thing here. This is an oddball item that a company sent me. So they just reached out to me and they're like, hey, we got this thing. We're going to hook you up with it. Enjoy. And I was like, all right, cool. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. Now, before I was like, sure, send that, I decided to, like, obviously do a little research into what it even was. So despite having not used it yet, I can already tell you a lot about it. But let's go ahead and open it up and take a look. Now, this is not strictly a video game item specifically, but it does have video game context. What it is, if we get rid of the box there, is this. The Cloner Alliance Flint 4K P+. What this is a capture device, kind of like an Elgato or a Hauppauge or AverMedia boxes, those types of things. This one is just a little bit different than the other ones. This one, I obviously haven't used it, but I have read a lot about it, and a lot of people are saying this one's really good. Honestly, I had never heard of Cloner Alliance before all of this. I was like, what is this? But what they do in this case is they have the capture device, and it's got a couple of oddball features that I think are unique. Now, one of them is that this one is really designed for people who like to live stream video games, because what they've done is they've apparently consolidated a lot of the things you need, like a microphone jack, line in, line out, as well as, you know, video and power and all that sort of stuff. And they've just kind of consolidated it all into one spot, so you don't necessarily need additional components anymore. To be honest with you, that's not a feature I would make much use out of because I don't really live stream gameplay ever, but I could see why that would be significant to some people. So basically it allows you to add in a mic to do live commentary on the footage, so you just need the one device, which I think is pretty neat. One thing that's very misleading, but I will explain the technical reason for this, is they talk about how you say 4K is written all over it. This thing does not record in 4K. As far as I know, except for a couple of really high-end devices, nothing really truly captures in 4K at the moment. But what this does that's a little different from other devices is, in most cases, if you have something like an Elgato or an AverMedia device, and you say have an Xbox One X, or you have a PS4 Pro, or whatever, if you're running them in 4K mode, and they're running through an Elgato, they won't actually run in 4K. They will downscale back to 1080p, because that's the cap on those devices. And then from there, they'll display in 1080p on your television. That's not surprising. This one is a little different because even though it cannot record in 4K, it still allows you to bypass it. So if you're playing your Xbox One X in 4K, it will go into this device and then come out of this device back into 4K on your television. In other words, your gaming experience is not altered because you're recording. However, the recording itself does downscale to 1080p. So that's interesting. So it can do 60 frames per second. From what I obviously again haven't used it, but I've heard there's no real issues with latency or anything like that. It even allows you to, I believe, kind of treat it as you can use like people were saying that I wouldn't personally recommend this, but some people were saying that the latency is so limited that you can actually kind of use the software as an additional monitor. So like, let's say, for example, you wanted to hook this up to your laptop and you wanted to connect like an Xbox One to it. You could then use this as a way to connect the Xbox One to your laptop screen by running the software that it comes with and then just playing through that. I would not recommend that, but apparently people were saying you could actually do that. It was relatively functional. But personally, I wouldn't. The other thing that's really unique about this is that it apparently has no HDCP coding. Now, what does that mean? HDCP coding is that protection that HDMI has to prevent you from recording things like Blu-rays off of there, or recording Netflix or Disney Plus or whatever. You can't record that stuff onto these boxes because that would be piracy, so they all have HDCP encoding. Now, they claim that they did that, they removed it for gaming purposes, because there are certain situations where that's useful. For example, the PlayStation 3, its HDMI output had never had an option to disable HDCP. So if you wanted to capture gameplay off of it, you either needed an HDCP stripper or you needed to run through component mode. With this, you could just natively stream right out of the PS3 or natively record right out of the PS3. The logical byproduct of that, though, is you could record movies and things like that with this device if you want to. Now, again, they're not claiming that, and that's fine, but it is funny because I've looked at the software that you actually need to run this thing, and it has something I've never seen in recording software. Recording software typically has a number of settings, but it doesn't usually have this particular one. This one had a game mode and a movie mode. In other words, it has software that's finely tuned in the event that you are in fact capturing video. There can be practical and legitimate reasons to do that, but okay. Anyway, it kind of, you know, whatever. I just thought it was interesting to try out a new piece of tech, but let's go ahead and actually look at it from the inside here. This little nub thing actually gets full of tape, doesn't it? Get past that piece of tape, and that one, and that one. But I'm looking forward to actually checking this out for myself. So this isn't really a review, it's just kind of a let's take a look type of thing. But either way, if I didn't say it before, they did send this to me for free for the purposes of just checking it out. So I want to thank them for that. That was nice of them to do. On the inside, you have information about them. You have more information about the device itself. Then you have the actual device, which is actually pretty small. I would say this is about the size of a credit card, just obviously much thicker. Very metal, very, seems nice. Yeah, the input of HDMI in, HDMI out, and then on the other end you have a single USB port, presumably for power and data. Line in, line out. I kind of remember them saying that it didn't necessarily always need power, but I can't imagine that's actually true. And then it comes with a lot of adapters. Actually, this is almost worth it just for the adapters, because you have a ton of weird USB options. You've got USB-C to USB 3. You've got HDMI, well, you have just an HDMI cable. Then you have a few various dongles. You have like USB micro to USB 2.0 adapter. You have USB 2.0 to USB-C. You have USB-C to USB 3.0. And then you have USB 2 male to female. So they just kind of give you all the stuff you would conceivably need to ever connect it, which I think is pretty cool. But yeah, I really like the size of this. The only disadvantage, without having used it, but based on the reviews and just kind of just looking at it, is the most obvious disadvantage to this thing is that it cannot record to itself. A computer is still required to process the data, which is kind of can be a limitation, although that can also be good because often like things like the AverMedia, like Gamer Pro Live or whatever that one was, that recorded straight to an SD card. While convenient, the video quality of that wasn't necessarily always the best. This one should have a much better video quality experience. It's just the inconvenience of having to connect it to a computer. You know, trade-offs, you win some, lose some. But this should be a nice little upgrade to my system for when I capture gameplay in the future. So very much a big shout out here to Cloner Alliance. Thank you very much for hooking me up with that. Thank you again to Castlemania Games. Thank you to my buddy Trey, my buddy Anthony, as well as Stone Age Gamer. And thank you guys very much for watching. If you guys could please like, comment, and subscribe, I appreciate that. Again, go say hi to your mom, give her a call, tell her you love her, because again, you get them while you get them, and then they're gone. So make sure you do that. So again, not to get on a depressing note, so let's just go back to happiness. Video games, yay! Thank you very much, everybody, for watching. Again, like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the social media stuff in the description, and I'll see you all later.